Okay, so I'm not going to go through in as much depth as I was going to on Monday night, but I just want us to briefly go over some of the good things, some of the bad things from these little clips that I've picked out. I'm not going to analyse them as such, we're just going to identify them so you can see what's going on, see what our strengths are, see what our weaknesses are. So let's look over the first one here, and what I wanted to be looking at, we'll just rewind a little bit, is especially Bella and the position that she gets in. So if we're going forward, this is Bella here, okay, and the player that she's marking behind her. So as we go forward, girls, we can see that Bella, she gets goal side of the ball, so she's between the player and the goal, and she's also ball side, so she's between the ball and the player. This means that as this pass comes through from this direction over here, this Harbour player has no chance of intercepting the ball because Bella's got herself into a really strong position. If I was going to have one slight weakness to this marking, she's probably not as close to the player as I'd like. As I said, we want to be on man-to-man marking, okay? But as you can see, the end result, as the ball is passed through, Bella's in a good position. She's able to get in front of her player, stop the ball, and then head out in this direction here. The other thing I just want us to identify is Sarah here. And apologies if I get the names wrong, girls. It's a small screen, so I can't exactly see faces, but I think it's Sarah. Who would she be marking as players were coming into that circle? And I think what I just want us to identify is look for the second danger. If you're a free player, look for the danger, the most obvious danger. So if there's a player hanging around here, she's not the player you're going to mark, but if there's a player over here, she's the player you're going to mark. That'll be a second danger, that'll be a third danger there. So just find the danger and mark them, okay? So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so in this one, girls, I want us to look at Sarah again. Sarah is the one here, okay? And she's coming over to her player. Now, what I really like about this, in terms of channeling a player, is we don't want to go into the player too quickly. So what we want to do, and what Sarah's done really well here, is she's lined up her player first, so we're in a direct line, and then she starts to go towards her, instead of, if her player was up here, going in straight away, because then they can cut back in and they've got all the space. What Sarah's done really well here is, as she's running backwards, she's lined up her player first before she closes down that distance, okay? So that's the first good thing. Now let's see what she does going forward. She closes her player, she keeps her stick on the ground and in that position of making sure that the player's head stays down. So as you can see, that Harbour player has always got her head down, so she's always on the ball. We're forcing her into the corner, and she's forcing her where she wants the ball to go. So Sarah's forcing the player to where she wants to go. And she's not able to cut back infield because Sarah's blocking off that channel back infield. So the end result is that she's having to make a pass way out on a distance, and the end result is a bad shot. But what I really like here is the way Sarah is keeping her stick on the ground, nice and close to the player, which makes the Harbour player keep her head down. She can't see the options around her, and Sarah's closed off that channel back infield or to where the danger is if there was someone on the dock. She can't pass here because Sarah's in the way. Next thing I want to look at is if we keep going forward on this one, who's the second danger? This player here. What is Rebecca doing here? She's ball watching. So instead of ball watching, Rebecca, you should have been jumping on that player there, okay? So we've blocked off that second danger. Now, at the moment, the ball's been saved by the goalie, okay? So that ball could easily bounce back out to that player, and I think even so, it does do that, okay? So Rebecca, instead of ball watching, we should have been marking. That goes for everyone, girls, because everyone does it, all right? So if you see a second danger, mark them if you're in free space like Rebecca was there. Do not ball watch, okay? Let's move on to the next one. Okay, girls, so in this one I want to look at Neve, who's here. The ball is over here, okay? So Neve's in a difficult position here where she's marking this player, but unfortunately this player's got the ball and there's no one in the space here. So Neve's going to have to go forward. As she's marking this player, though, I would want her a little bit more goal side to the ball. But I think she's already pressed forward to take this ball. Now, what I like about Neve's tackle here is she blocks off the channel between these two players, okay, by getting her stick in the way. And she gets down relatively low. As you can see her body position here, she's got her knees bent, so she's getting down into a low position, so she's able to stop that interception. One thing I'd say as we look forward, probably could have got her stick a little bit further on the ground and lined up that ball a little bit further. So coming across so you're a bit more in line with the player rather than being out and just holding your stick out. But I did like the bent knees, and you're in a much lower body position, which is good. So that ball has now been passed over. Now what happens here is we're all ball watching and not seeing what the second danger is. We've got 1, 2, 3, all go for that ball, as we can see here. You all commit to it, and then all of a sudden we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 who are unmarked in the middle. Okay, so that comes down to a communication thing. Rebecca, I think it is, has committed to the ball. Okay, so Neve, you probably should have dropped off and taken that player. And Chloe, instead of ball watching, as you can see there, you probably should have dropped off and taken post. Bella should have taken that player. Whoever that is should have taken that player. See how we've got our players in the circle? We're just not identifying our player and marking them. Okay, we're all ball watching. As we can see here, all our faces are facing the ball and watching the ball. We're not outnumbered at all in the circle. But what happens is we all of a sudden become outnumbered because we're all ball watching. Okay, so we've got the numbers in the circle. We're just not marking our player because we're all either committing to the ball, we're all ball watching, and we're not marking as our job. Okay, so those 3 players could easily be marked by 1, 2, 3. One could have come over here to mark that player, and we would have been all right in the circle. But we're getting ourselves into danger because we're ball watching. Okay, so it's a real urgency inside that circle, please. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, guys, so let's have a quick look at this one. The people I want to pay particular attention to are Neve here and Chloe here. Okay, ball is here. So if we play forward, one thing is, Neve is ball watching. Okay, you can see she's ball watching. She's not keeping an eye on her player. I like her body position. She's side on, so she can see what's going on in front of her. She can see what's happening with the ball, and she can always see what's happening with her player. But we're not man-to-man marking, are we? We need to drop in and be stuck on our player goal side, right? So we need to be dropping into that area there. Okay, so instead of ball watching, mark your player, right? You can still mark and watch at the same time. The other person I want to pay particular attention to is Chloe here. Chloe is a defender. She should have picked up the free player, which is this player here, who might have been centre forward. Okay, so instead, at the moment, she's trapped in no man's land. There's no point being there. Okay, and as you see here, ball comes through to this player here because she's free in the circle. Okay, Rebecca, again, be tight on your player. That's not tight on your player. Okay, you need to be stuck on them. Okay, goal side. We're not goal side again. All right. So I think the biggest thing here is I don't want us to get caught ball watching. Well, the theme that's coming up a lot at the moment. And Chloe, you were definitely ball watching there. Okay, so make sure that you identify your player. Okay, so as a defender, you want to be marking that free player. That was the free player. You should have been stuck on her. Instead, we let her have a little bit too much freedom. Okay, and we let her take a shot away. And I think the biggest thing, girls, especially if you're a defender, is saying, all right, I'm not marking a player. Who's free in the circle? Who should I be marking? Who's the biggest danger? Okay, so that's the sort of stuff that you need to be thinking about instead of just standing randomly in no man's land. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, girls, so a few things in this one. First one is I want us to be focusing on Bella, and we're even going to get Pippa in amongst this one, and we're going to talk about what she should have done as well. So let's have a look here. Ball's somewhere over here. Don't know exactly. Somewhere over there. We'll see it come through in a minute. So basically what I like here, okay, is all of a sudden Bella was keeping on this person here. All of a sudden this player becomes free. Now I don't know if that was Bella's player in the first place, but this player receives the ball, okay? Now, Bella identifies that this is the danger, not this. So we see Bella go forward to take the tackle, which is very, very good. But that leaves this player here free, which means that this player who is marking here could have possibly dropped in and marked that player, because that's more of a danger there than that player there, okay? What I don't like about this approach is the tackle that we make here, okay? So if we continue going forward, we look at the tackle, not a good tackle. Okay, how should we be tackling in the circle? We should be having our stick flat on the ground because it reduces the chance of just whacking their stick, hacking, and awarding a penalty corner to the other team. So as we're coming into those tackles, especially in the circle, girls, we should be getting our stick flat on the ground. So we should lunge in, okay, one foot in front of the other with our stick flat on the ground. So the ball will just roll into our stick, then we can run off with it, okay? Now, as you can see here, this player becomes free. So as this player should have dropped in instead of ball watching once again, okay? And I think that the idea, girls, is yes, you have a player to mark, but if there becomes a player free in the circle, you need to take them first, okay? So it's about playing as a team, okay? Now, as we see, bad tackle, should have been a flat stick tackle, so the ball comes through it. Now, all of a sudden, this player becomes free. Pippa, what you should have done is actually gone out to her and slid her, okay, or slided in front of her to try and take her out, instead of letting her take a shot that close to the goal. And you're probably quite lucky that it was a weak shot, okay? But she should have gone out to block off those angles. So run out, slide at her, okay, if you're the last player. Last thing, girls, I want us to see here is look at our sticks. Pippa's saved a ball that could have quite easily rebounded back here, Okay, and look how we've all got our sticks. No one is ready to receive that ball back again off a rebound. So when we want to get the ball off a rebound, knees bent, on the balls of our feet, sticks on the ground, all right? That's the sort of position we need to be in. The moment we've all got our sticks in the air, if that ball came back, we had no chance of stopping it, all right? And it would have gone back to possibly that player or possibly that player, okay? And they would have had another shot. So be ready for those rebounds, right? Stick on the ground. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, just last one on defense really quickly. I think this is Chloe here. Okay, we see that the ball's become loose. Chloe, you should have run onto that. All right, that's what the danger is at the moment. This player here running onto the ball. Okay, so you should have gone to that first instead of hanging back on the post. All right. Instead, what we do, we're a bit sluggish on it. That player gets in front of you. Okay, and she's able to get to the ball first. So as soon as you see that ball loose, you need to go to it and cut that down. All right. But what I do like is your body position is a lot lower. Okay, now we've just misjudged a little bit of where the ball's going to go, but look at your bent knees, that's good. You got your stick on the ground. One thing I will say though is have two hands on the stick. You have a lot more strength on the ball, okay, which would have been a lot more successful. So as much as you can, try and get two hands on that ball, but that was a good look at your body position. You're a lot lower, sticks on the ground, which is good. Okay, that's the sort of stuff we need to be getting a bit more of in the circle. All right, but that's what I wanted to go over on that one. So let's move on to the next one, and we'll start moving on to attack. Okay, guys, so this is a good example of what I was saying about the ball. If we're on ball side, wing on the other side needs to be higher, okay? So at the moment, the ball's over here. What should have been happening is this wing over here should have been a lot higher, okay? Now, whether they were in defensive area, I don't know, okay? But just that idea of that wing on the opposite side coming higher. So as we see when the ball comes through, we're able to get it. So if we continue watching, Adelaide, I think it is, makes a ball through. Now, the ball comes through past centre forward because we've told the centre forward to drop a little bit more, so they're more of a supporting role. If our wing was a lot higher, that would have been an easier receive for our wing and then a shot at goal, okay? So it's just that idea of getting a lot higher. However, Lottie gets onto it, all right? And now what's happened here is she's come over here to receive that ball where the wing should have been, okay? Now, all of a sudden, Lucy, who I think is playing right wing, should have occupied that dot. Okay, so that's really, really important, is that you're occupying that dot area. Okay, so if centre forward goes out, then you're going to start marking that dot. Okay, or occupying that dot. Somebody needs to be on that dot at all times. Okay, so if centre forward moves out of position, centre forward's now in the wing position. Okay, so that right wing should have gone to the dot. I think it's this idea goes of strikers need to be supporting each other and moving around and helping each other out. Right, so it's that idea of swinging around to the other wing, or swinging around to centre forward position if the centre forward goes away. So we're supporting each other. Other thing, Tamsin, I think it is there, you're probably playing left inner. Stay at the top of the circle, okay? Don't drift infield like you did, okay? I think you are playing left inner in this game. So make sure you're staying at the top for the rebounds, all right? On the balls of your feet, bent, knees nice and bent, stick on the ground, all right? That's all I want to get out of that one was just the height of the wing, okay? Let's move on to the next one. Okay, girls, so this is a good example of the height working, all right? And I think the end result is actually a goal in this case here. So let's have a watch, and we'll go through it. So we can see here, I think it's Alan here playing on the right wing. Is playing with a lot more height, okay? So as you see, as the ball comes through, as the ball's hit, literally now, Adelaide's here, Alan's here, so she's higher, okay? And as you can see, as you come higher, the ball comes through, okay? And she's in that position ready to go. Now, Lottie, you should have probably shifted across a little bit more, okay? Or got onto that post, okay? Because that post was unoccupied. But yeah, so that example there was just a good example of Alan playing with a lot more height, compared to the other side or to the ball side. And as the ball came through, we were in that position where we had the height to receive the ball. Okay, if she was playing back, that ball would have gone straight to goalie or would have gone out. All right, so the end result wouldn't have been a goal. So that was good. That was really good. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, girls, so 3 to go, so not much at all. I just want to look at positioning inside the circle with this video and also body positions inside the circle. But I think by this stage, girls, I think I've batted it on enough and I think you understand the ideas, but let's just go through it really quickly. So playing this one, girls, what I really like about this one is the width we use from the long corner. We identify space out here and we're able to shift the ball across. So well done, Emma, and I think Phoebe receives the ball there. Okay, so we've received the ball. When we play wide, girls, we're stretching the players out, all right? And we start creating a bit more space. If we continue keeping it in this clustered area here and just continue doing little drags and little drags and little drags and little passes, all the defence will stay together. If we can spread it out wide, that's when we create space and that's when we create opportunities, and that's what we've done here, okay? So the ball comes through. So, wing should have been on the post. Centre forward should have been on the dot, but since there were a lot of players, I'll give you it that you could have pushed into that little space there, which is probably a good idea. Okay, and I think that's Tamsin on top of the circle. Okay, so it's that idea of 5 on a dice. Alright, we want to be making that 5 on a dice. So it's really important that we're at the top of the circle, and at the moment we're not at the top of the circle. Adelaide, you're a wing, should have been on the post. Leave that dot to the centre forward. Okay, next thing, we see the ball come through, and all of a sudden, well, let's go back a little bit. As soon as you see that ball hit in, so we would have seen that from a long time ago, we should have been down low on the balls of our feet, knees bent, sticks on the ground. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Knees aren't bent, sticks aren't on the ground, all our body weight's not on the balls of our feet. Okay, and that's really, really important, because as soon as that ball comes through, you have no idea what direction it's going to go in, because you could get a deflection or anything. Okay, so we need to be really, really aware. And as you can see, ball comes through, and we've all missed it. Okay, because we're not ready for it. If we look, that ball's come through. Oh, Adelaide, I'll give it to you. Okay, you have got your stick on the ground, which is good. Tamsin, nope. Okay, so we need to be aware, and I think that's a good position from Adelaide there. She's actually ready to go. Say maybe wait a bit more on the balls of your feet, but apart from that, that was actually good from you. Okay, Tamsin, top of the circle. Adelaide should have been on the post. Alright, that's what I wanted to get out from this. The 5 on a dice. Alright, let's move on to the next one. 2 to go. So believe it or not, girls, this is a different video, but it looks identical. Okay. Again, Adelaide, you've done well to get your stick on the ground. Alright, I'll get down a little bit lower. But it was good to see your stick on the ground. Lottie, Tamsin, I think that's Tamsin, I'm not 100% sure. Get your sticks on the ground, knees bent, balls of your feet, alright? Tamsin, you're doing a little bit better to stay at the top of the circle. I'll just push out a little bit further, okay, and be ready for those rebounds. Lottie should have been on that dot, but I see if you're on the dot, then you're covered there, so pushing out there is probably a good idea. You've identified the space and used it, okay? But Adelaide, you should have been on the post, alright? As soon as that ball comes through, you need to be on that post. You're not playing centre forward, okay? But again, girls, that idea that we're not in the right positions, we're not making that 5 on a dice, and look at our sticks are in the air. So as the ball comes through, we're not necessarily ready for it. Okay? You're lucky it was an aerial ball. Okay, but just that idea of positioning inside the circle and how we put our body inside the circle, or our body position. Okay? Last thing I want to identify, girls, is that free space in there. Centre forward, use it. Okay, I don't know where you're tied up. I can't really see where you are, Emma. But just you look at that space when we play the ball, when we got the ball wide. Look at the space we've got in this area here, okay? And even, whoever this player is, might be a defender, push up, okay? Use that space, because I think Emma was actually with the ball over here, so someone should identify the space in the middle, so the distribution pass could come through here, and then we could use this space here, okay? And I think that even there is a half, because I think I've got one back here. So that half could have actually pushed up and used that space. So look at the space, girls. Find the space and use that space, okay? Even if you're not supposed to be playing that position, push up if the centre half is occupied, right? Push up into that space and give them an option, all right? So let's move on to the last one, girls. Okay, so another good example of ball watching, from the attackers this time. All right, so we've got somebody on the post here. Might be Ellen, I think. So Lottie's got the ball here. Now, as you can see, what Alan's doing is she's ball watching the whole time. Alright? Instead of ball watching, she should have been running to that post. Now, I think what happened was that the ball actually missed the goal because we had no one on that post. Alright? So we can't be ball watching. You have a job. Alright? If you're a wing, you're running hard to those posts. Okay? So you should be running really, really, really hard. Alright? Even if you don't get there in time, you can do a sliding dive, alright, to deflect the ball in. But you need to be knowing what your job is and going to do it. Okay? So, Ellen, your job there was to run straight to that post, all right, regardless of who was hitting the ball, okay? Keeping an eye on the ball at the same time, so maybe staying side on so you can see what's going on behind you, you can see what's going on in front of you, okay, but not ball watching. As you can see, we continue ball watching the whole time. Oh, I think it might have been Lucy, actually. Oh, I don't know who it was. All right. But just being aware that you need to be running straight to post. Do not watch the ball, okay? So if you're wing, your job is to run straight to post. The other thing I want to look at, girls, is our trailers, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 even. You're all just jogging, all right? If we're on attack, you need to be sprinting hard so we outnumber them in that circle, okay? If that ball had been hit out by the goalie, we've got no one at the top of the circle to get it back in, all right? So if we're on attack, You need to be running in hard, so we're occupying that 5 on a dice, we're occupying the top of the circle, we're occupying the middle of the circle, so when the rebounds come, we can pounce on them, we can get it again, and we can push into the goal. Obviously, it's congested, so we want to push off a rebound, okay? But girls, there's just not enough urgency in that circle. You didn't know that Lottie was going to miss that, miss the goal or miss the goalie. Alright, so we need to be running hard into that circle, balls of the feet, knees bent, sticks on the ground so we can get all those rebounds, alright, instead of just jogging all over the place, alright? However, that's Lucy over there actually. If you're playing as an inner, which I don't think you are, that's a good position for an inner, okay? If you're playing wing, you should be up on that post, alright? But that's a good position for an inner, okay? But girls, just that idea, and I think it goes right through, positioning inside both circles, so getting down low, balls of the feet. We need to not be ball watching. We need to find what the dangers are, identifying them, and marking them. Our positioning as attackers inside the circle, 5 on a dice, alright? And just generally, girls, we just need to have a little bit more urgency, both on attack and defence, alright? Everyone has a job in every single thing we do, alright? Nobody's jobless, okay? Even wings have a job to do on defence, alright? They need to drop back, possibly mark someone, create an outlet pass, alright? Everyone has a job, so do not ball watch, and I don't want to see you ball watching on Sunday. Alright, but hopefully you're sort of getting some of the general themes that are coming through from those two games. Alright, so we can stop doing that come our games against Tauranga and Northland. Tauranga and Bay of Plenty, sorry. So hopefully you got something out of that, girls, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Cheers.